Okay, just a quick audio check. Am I audible? Is it clear? If some of you can just say yes if the voice is clear. Can I get a quick yes in the chat section if I'm audible? Okay, perfect. Just to just conveying this to Alessandro. Alessandro, we might have to go on the live streaming on the top because we are live on YouTube. Okay, great. So welcome everyone. I see slowly the audience is increasing today. First of all, thank you so much the Inside IM team for organizing this webinar for us. My name is Sukita. As you might have seen in the webinar, information. I lead marketing and operations at SDA Bocconi Asia Center. With me today, I also have Alessandro. Alessandro is the managing director at SDA Bocconi Asia Center and also the founder and the one who brought the school to India. The way we will do today is that we will quickly, since of course the focus is pretty much on the entire, the fact that CAT and NMAT results are out, scholarships, placements, and the admission process. So this will be pretty much fact-based webinar. So in case if you guys are targeting to apply to us in round 2, I would recommend that you go ahead and ask whatever questions you might have regarding, as far as the program is concerned or the school is concerned. If you want your profiles to be evaluated, you can also post your profile in the order of your academics, 10th, 12th, and graduation, your test scores, and anything in your extracurricular bucket. So that will really help us tell you about your chances of scholarships as well as possible, conversions with scholarships. The flow of the webinar will be, Alessandro will start this webinar very quickly, telling you a little bit about the school, and then I will tell you about the admission process, then scholarships and placements. Okay, great. So over to you, Alessandro, in case if we can just start with a quick brief.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon, everybody. My name is Alessandro Giuliani. I'm the managing director of SDA Bocconi Asia Center, which I started 9 years back. So I'll tell you very quickly about the Bocconi world and why we are in India, what we're doing in India. Bocconi is a 120 years old business university that has also always been only in Milan city center for more than a century, where it has grown to be one of the largest management schools in the world and one of the best. We have been ranked by Financial Times number 8 in the world in terms of business universities. There we have all the way from undergraduate to postgraduate, MBA school, PhD school, and a small school of business law. Our business school, SDA Bocconi, is itself 50 years old and one of the best in the world. We are ranked number 3 in Europe by Financial Times, and 2 months back, we've been ranked number 4 in the world by Bloomberg, especially for innovation and creativity. So 9 years back, we decided to open our very first campus outside Milan city center, and we chose Mumbai in India. Why? Many similarities between India and Italy, and many similarities between Milan and Mumbai. So not only in terms of people, the people are very similar, Indians to Italians, in terms of many things, from love for fashion, color, food, and so on. The two countries are very similar, different sizes, but very similar, with the big mountains and the top, and so on and so forth. Even our flags are almost the same. And Milan, like Mumbai, is not the capital of the country, but it is the business capital, financial capital, media, and so on. That's why we chose Mumbai, and within Mumbai, we chose Powai, which is a very beautiful area. Itself, it looks like a big campus, university campus, with all the possible chains of bars, restaurants, entertainment, supermarkets, and so on. But not only that, Powai is the seat of some at least 50 big companies, whether they are multinationals or Indian conglomerates. which for us is extremely important. Bocconi has become so strong, especially in the last 10, 15 years, because of the focus in the corporate connect in research, okay? We are #1 in Europe for research, which we run with the corporates, with which we do then joint events, and with which we do a lot of live projects and so on. For that, we've grown also to be #4 in the world for custom trainings of the top executives. So the interaction with the corporates for us is very important, which translates then in a very good relationships at the time of placement of our students, but even more important, in the ability of updating our curricula every year. So our curricula are amazing, also because all our faculty, they are working faculty, so in touch with the real world, the real case histories, the real problems. We started in India some 9 years back. In 2012, the first batch started, and we started with this, what is called IMB, International Master in Business, which is a master diploma from the European University System, delivered by SDA Bocconi School of Business, School of Management, Milan. And it is based on the same curriculum of our Masters of Management in Milan, which is ranked #6 in the world for several years now. So a very strong curriculum, always updated, a global curriculum, global faculty. Yes, before entering India, we did an in-depth research where we found 3 areas that we wanted to specifically address on top of having a top curriculum, top faculty. These 3 areas were soft skills, corporate connect, and global exposure. So on the base of that, as you see, global exposure, for sure we're in an international school, but also the faculty that teaches in Mumbai is 85% our own faculty that comes from Milan. Not only that, Milan is a very international university. We cherry pick them. They're from the MBA school, so they teach executives mainly for us, and they are from 10 different countries. So already in Mumbai, the international diverse experience for the faculty is amazing. Then for sure, in terms of global exposure, we complemented that. At the beginning, the first year, you have the students merged of our IMB. They are merged in the same classes with the students from the double degree from ESSEC Paris and Bocconi Milan. So students from Germany, from Spain, from Italy, from France that are in the same classroom with our students in Mumbai. And then for sure, the highlight of the program, which is the exchange semester, the specialization semester, sorry, in Milan, which is compulsory for everybody, and everybody, which is the big thing, gets to take the specialization that they want. Okay, in Milan we are very big. We have some 300 electives. We streamline them down for you around 70, and then we streamline different verticals so that if you take 4 exams, 4 courses and exams in that vertical, you also get the specialization in that vertical. And anybody can take the specialization that they want, which is quite unique in India. Not only that, it's an amazing experience with students from 80 different countries. Of our 15,000 students, 20% are foreign students. Of our 600 faculty, 40% are foreign faculties. And it is an amazing experience because it is in the heart of Europe with the possibility of traveling around. So that is global exposure. Then I was telling you Corporate Connect. I already mentioned how important it is for us and why we chose Powai and Mumbai for our school in India, and all the activities that we do with the corporates. Third, soft skills, which is very dear to me. You will get tired hearing about that. Not only we have the top faculty in the world, an amazing curricula, so in the core academics is extremely strong, but we also have 2 years of extracurricular activities. The world is changing very fast. India is changing even faster. We need executive, we need managers, we need students that know how to adapt to think out of the box, think out of the models. Teaching models is fine, you learn from the past, but will not help you in the work career, okay? Because everything is changing, markets are disrupted. So what we help our students to acquire is the ability of thinking out of the box, adapting quickly, understanding what is happening, communicate to their teams what is happening, what they want. That is why the corporates are amazed at our students, and that is why our students grow very quickly within the corporates, not only within the MNCs. Normally they are the ones that are sent abroad in the career the first, because of their ability in the soft side. So much so that we put attention, that we have started all the way from the selection. You will see, for us, the interview, we're a profile-based school, which means that really we look into this potential in the students that we select. That's why the interview is very important, to assess the possibility of boosting your soft skills. And then even before the program starts, we have a boot camp, 1 week boot camp, where we explain you about all the different sectors by top executive directors of Nomura Investment Banking for Finance, Global CHRO of KPMG for HR, and so on, so that you understand exactly what each area, which function is. Then we do self-assessment tests for you in this boot camp, so that we understand with you what are your strengths. You will have to strengthen even more. What are your gaps, which we will have to fill. So we understand where you will be good in your career, and we put down a potential CV that you will need to have at the end of the 2 years to crack the interview for the career that is the best suitable for you. And then we will work for 2 years on that, both on technical skills, where we do give, for example, the certification from EY in business analytics for our students. For those that go for operations, we get the certification Six Sigma from KPMG, so on and so forth, and all the soft activities that are complemented with a lot of work and activity. And I like to say that from the clubs. We have some 15 clubs, I think, more or less. Some are very academics, some are very non-academics, but we have really strengthened this activity with the clubs, with committees, and they've taken up most of the work that we do. Okay, they support us, and it's not only corporate relations with the corporates, but it's also all the work in L&D, all the work of contacting the corporates, also for supporting and mentoring. So these 2 years, really, we have made now. I encourage you to speak with the actual students. We have made these 2 years extremely enriching. So there are some that still sit back, but very few. Most of them, they work around the clock, because academics are tough and very good, but extracurricular activities are amazing and around the clock. And I can tell you that at the end of the 2 years, people are totally different. Now, coming to more worldly things, which we are normally asked immediately, the package, the placement, the AICTE, and the piece of paper that you get, they're all very important to us. So placement, we've always done 100% placement. Average salary at placement, we are at 11.8, 11.87, with a median 11.4. Year on year, we grow about 20%. We've been growing the last few years in the average salary from 1 year to the other. And because of all this activity, all the activity one-on-one we do with the students, we tend to place our students in the area, in the sector, in the companies, not only that they like, but that are suitable for them. That's why they stay so long in the first company. ACT is the other question. What that goes with the piece of paper that you get? You will get a European Master Diploma from the European University System, delivered by SDA Bocconi School of Management, Milan. So it is not under the purview of AICTE, okay, which is not an accreditation. AICTE is the purview, but it's not under the purview. It is, on the contrary, under the accreditation. SDA Bocconi School of Management is the one of the 100 schools in the world that has the triple crown, which means the top 3 international accreditations. So our master diploma goes under this big hat and is a master diploma from the European university system, which allows you a lot of movement across the world. A lot of our alumni now are moving for Canada, for example, in the last year and a half. It's a very important piece of paper. So I think I've told you more or less everything very quickly. If you have more questions on this, please ask. And now I leave it to Sukita for all the admission and the profile evaluation, where she's much better than me.
Thank you, Alessandro. I think before I do the admission piece, since you might have to step out, I'll request these students, in case if they have questions related to the program, the Milan semester, or the placements, they can ask right now so that you can address it directly. So I will wait for the next 2 minutes and see if some of these questions come up. So guys, please go ahead. Other than your profile and admission related questions, which I will take care of, if you have questions related anything to the program, or any question that you might have regarding placements or something regarding the masters, please just go ahead and ask right away so that Alessandro can, help you address some of these. We'll just wait for 1 or 2 minutes. Otherwise, I'll just move to the admission piece. Okay, I think people are more keen on knowing the admission piece already. Alessandro, if you want, you can step out. I will take the admission piece from here on.
Thank you very much. Bye, everybody. Good luck for everything.
Great. Thank you. Thanks, Alessandro. Great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first quickly tell you about how does our admission process works. Okay, so our admission process comprises of 4 main elements. The first thing that we look at is your academics, which means we will look at your academic consistency. That includes your 10th, 12th, and your graduation marks. Now here, what we mean is, ideally we would like you to be consistent in all these 3. For example, a consistent academic candidate can look like something, who has 80-85% average across 10th, 12th, and graduation. Now, the higher the average, the better your chances. So academic average is the first thing. We consider the aggregate. The second thing we look at is test scores. Please note, we do not have cutoffs. Okay. However, I will tell you certain scores. Now, these are safe scores. What I mean is that in case if you hit what we have seen traditionally, or what we've seen, let's say in the first round of the admission season, that if you hit scores around these, the chances of shortlist just improves. So for example, a safe score in NMAT this year is somewhere landing around 220, 220 plus. In CAT would be around 85 plus. In GMAT would be around 640 plus. In GRE around 310 plus. Now, in case if you feel that your scores are not landing around these, or you want to improve your chances, you can take our test, which is called Bocconi test. Bocconi test is very similar to the NMAT or GMAT format. Computer adaptive, no negative marking. It has 3 sections: verbal, quant, you absolutely take Bocconi test to move forward. Now, these are those cases where we feel the scores are not strong enough for us to directly move with those scores combined with the rest of the profile. So in those cases, you will be asked to take Bocconi test to move forward. But what we are seeing is a 220, 230 in NMAT or an 85 around in CAT should more or less put you in a decent spot. But of course, the higher the score, the better your chances. So that's obviously an important factor there. The third thing that we look at is your extracurricular activity. This includes almost everything non-academic in your overall life. Now, as if you heard Alessandro, you understand that we have a very strong focus on soft skills. Now, this will include anything that you've done in school and college, substantial, things that you've won, hobbies or interests that you've really practiced for a consistent duration of time. If you've been active in the social sector, if your work experience, what is the impact of your work, what kind of professional growth have you personally witnessed, any certification, internships. Now all of this will come under the extracurricular bucket. It has a pretty strong 20 to 25% weightage. So if you have this element strong, it can really support your overall candidature. The fourth thing that we look at is the final interview. Now, your academics, test, and your extracurricular will define your shortlisting chances, and then your performance in the interview, and all of these four combined will define your admission chances and admissions with tuition waivers or scholarships. I will just quickly tell you about our strong tuition waiver and scholarship program. So of course, being relatively new in India, when we started in 2012, we were very clear that we wanted to attract strong meritorious candidates, and that's when we introduced this financial aid program, where we wanted to make sure that anyone who fits in certain merit joins our program, and for that we will extend a tuition waiver program for them. Now, tuition waivers can range anywhere from 30, 50 to 80% of the tuition fee. Now that is substantial, and it improves your overall ROI substantially. So the idea is that even if you hit the 30% bracket, it will really improve your overall ROI. Other than the tuition waivers, we have 3 scholarships. The first one is Women in Leadership, which is awarded to obviously strong female candidates. The second one is Dean's Award, which is awarded to strong academically meritorious candidates. And the third one is Sports and Arts Cultural Scholarship. Now, this scholarship is awarded to candidates where we see there is a consistent interest or performance or anything related to sports, arts, or culture in your overall profile. So these are about tuition waiver and scholarship. Now, before I start taking questions, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you an example of what a 50% scholarship looks like. Okay, 50% tuition waiver looks like. Now, a 50% candidate will look something like this. His or her academic average will be, let's say, around 80, 85, which means 10th, 12th graduation combined. The average will land somewhere around 80, 85, mostly towards the 85 side. The scores will look like something, will look something like this. NMAT in the upwards of 235 for 240, CAT in the upwards of 90, or GMAT in the upwards of 680, GRE in the upwards of around 318, 320, or a very strong Bocconi test. The extracurricular will definitely have some very interesting parameters. For example, maybe something in sports, something in arts, something in social work, and then of course an outstanding interview. A candidate that meets all these criteria might get awarded a 50% tuition waiver. This was just to give you an idea of what a 50% candidate might look like. Now, an 80%, you can just exaggerate these things and you'll reach the 80%. An 80% candidate will definitely have an academic average of 90 across or above, a CAT score of 95 plus, or a GMAT score of 700 plus, or a GRE score of about 322, 325, NMAT score of about 245 to 50, outstanding extracurriculars, and outstanding interview. A candidate like this will receive an 80% tuition waiver. Trust us, each round, each year, we do have some candidates that get awarded the 80% tuition waiver. Some get awarded the 50%, some get awarded the 30%, and some do not receive any. So this is more or less about the tuition waivers and scholarships. What I'm going to do is, I think the easiest way to explain this better is through, going through your questions and evaluating your profiles. I will move through profiles very quickly, tell your chances. The only way I'll be able to do that is if you've posted everything that we have asked. So let me just start taking some questions, and then, basis that if you have more questions, you can go ahead and post that. Okay, the first question is, Shaunak, any sectional cutoffs for CAT and NMAT? No, we do not have sectional cutoffs. You basically, as we said, cutoffs overall we don't have. It's a profile-based school. So what we really focus on is that, okay, meet a certain safe score criteria in these tests, and then the rest of the profile should take care of the shortlisting for you. So no sectional cutoffs. Okay, the next question is, Vittal, I got 88.3 percentile in CAT, but I'm not clear sectional cutoff. So again, I think 88 is fairly decent for you to apply to us if you're considering applying to us. If you're asking about IIMs, I'm afraid I won't be the right person to answer this question. Maybe you can get in touch with someone from the Inside IIM team to get this question answered. The next is Shaunak. Shaunak has asked for his profile to be evaluated. 10th, 90, 12th, 87, graduation 7.7. So Shaunak pretty much sorted on the academics. It's very balanced and consistent. It really clubs with a strong NMAT score. So Shaunak is sorted in the academics and pretty much sorted in the NMAT department. And then also very nice extracurriculars like theaters and research work. So Shaunak is what we call as a very balanced profile. Okay, candidate like Shaunak might have a shot anywhere from 30 to 50%, provided he does really well in the interview. If he's able to ace the interview, there is a slight chance of even hitting the 50% bracket. But of course, it will depend on how he does how you do on the interview date. I'm not sure, Shaunak, if you're online. If you are, I hope I've addressed your profile. Okay, even if you don't have any work experience, doesn't matter. You can highlight what are the things that you've done in college and compensate for the work experience. Shruti has 85, 72 and 82. So again, good academics, sorted. NMAT 238, again balanced. So very similar to Shaunak's. Shruti, I think, the fact that you have work experience, so once you reach the interview round, so I don't see a challenge for shortlisting for either of you guys, Shaunak and Shruti. Once you're shortlisted, of course, you have to aim at, converting with tuition waivers. In order to do that, the best is to really prepare well for the interview. We've done a lot of videos of how to crack our interviews with Inside IIM. So just go to the YouTube channel, Google our name and Google some interview tips, and you will really understand how to prepare for your interview once you've applied to us. So Shruti, in your case as well, you will have a shot at anywhere between 30 to 50%, provided you do well in the interview. Guys, please note that everything is contingent to A, of course, how you fill your application, B, how you do during the interview process. And in cases where your tests are not sufficient, you might have to also clear Bocconi test. Next is Rishabh. Rishabh is NMAT 222, 95, 87, 7.23. So Rishabh, I think your academics are sorted. NMAT is slightly on the lower side because it's 222. I think you can go ahead and apply with this. In case if you're really keen on applying to us and you want to improve your chances for conversion as well as possibly conversion with scholarship, and if you don't mind, you can take the Bocconi test. So guys, see, the thing is, I understand taking another test could be a little bit of pain, especially because you've already taken so many tests. But in case if you're serious at applying, there is no additional cost for it. So therefore, I would recommend that there is no harm taking another 70-minute test. And anyway, we will consider the best of the scores. So if you're keen, you want to apply, you want to improve your chances, I would recommend in cases of NMAT in the range of less than 230, you might want to think about taking the Bocconi test as well. So Rishabh, I think with NMAT 222 and your strong academics, considering you have some extracurriculars, shortlisting chances are there. But if you want to improve it, take the Bocconi test, Rishabh. Aisha, 10, 94, 88, 8.4. Brilliant academics and consistent. NMAT 224. TechFest organizer, cultural club management committee. Okay, so there are a couple of things in the extracurricular activities. So Aisha, in your case, again, shortlisting chances are there, but if you want to improve your chances of also converting with scholarships, I would definitely recommend taking the Bocconi test and see if you can score better in Bocconi test, because if that happens, it will definitely improve your chances. So Aisha, I would recommend, if you're keen on applying, go ahead and say yes to Bocconi test, take it and see what happens. Otherwise, I don't doubt that with NMAT 224, there will be a challenge of shortlist. But in case if you're also targeting scholarships, ideally it would be great if you can take the Bocconi test. Next, Alok, 88, 86, 7.5, NMAT 241, CAT 86, chances of conversion. So, again, guys, if you can add a little bit more about your extracurricular, it would be easier for me to also give you a stronger input on the actual evaluation. Anyway, Alok, in your case as well, very balanced. The NMAT score is really strong. So your academics are sorted, NMAT is sorted. This is for Alok. Clubbed with this, if you also have good extracurricular activities and you do very well in the interview, you might have a shot at 30 to even 50% tuition waiver. See, in order to hit the 50% tuition waiver, Alok, in your case, the best thing is that, of course, you write a nice CV, prioritize highlight your strong extracurriculars and prepare well for the interview. So it can really change your slab of moving, let's say, from 30 to 50. All of this, again, contingent that you do the application right and you do very well in the interview. Aisha, I've already answered yes. If you take the Bocconi test, the chances should improve. Sudhanshu, 82, 59 and 7.94, NMAT 209. I think Sudhanshu, one of the first challenges that you might have to overcome is the explanation of what really happened from 10th to 12th, because you moved from 80 to 59 and then you moved back to 7.94, which means overall academically you are a good student. Something must have happened during 12th. So this is a question once you get shortlisted might come to you. So make sure that you're prepared well for that. NMAT 209, I'm afraid, is pretty much on the lower side. So in your case, Sudhanshu, if you want to go ahead and you want to apply to us, you will have to take Bocconi test. So Sudhanshu, I will recommend that consider taking the Bocconi test if you want to go ahead with the application. Rana, 7.6, 68, 68, and CAT 62. EWS, what are the chances of converting? And I'm afraid the academics are also on the weaker side and CAT is also on the lower side. So, honestly, you also might have to cross check about the eligibility criteria, because our eligibility criteria says that you need to have an average of 10th, 12th and graduation 65%. I think you will meet the eligibility criteria. But having said that, CAT 62, I'm afraid, is really low for us. As I said, a safe score can be somewhere around 85. So probably I would recommend for you, Rana, that speak to a couple of our program advisors, see what they, what your overall conversation with them goes like. And then if you're keen on applying, you will have to try and clear the Bocconi test. Or if you're taking NMAT or retaking NMAT, maybe you will have to submit another test score. Please let me know. Okay, Aisha is asking, please let me know as a fresher to secure placements in a brand marketing role. So guys, each year, about 30-35% of our batch are freshers. And the remaining are people with work experience that can range anywhere from 1 to 5 years. The balance in terms, the target in terms of placements is pretty much neutral. So it doesn't really make any difference if you're a fresher or if you have work experience in terms of final placements as per, but also it depends from companies to companies. Now, some companies will actually come for roles where they will specify very clearly that for this, I want someone from, let's say, 0 to 2 years. Some companies might just come with very specific interest on, interest for candidates with work experience. Some companies might come with different job roles and they will specify that for this, I am looking at freshers and for this, I'm looking at people with work experience. So there is absolutely no challenge whatsoever. In order to improve your chances, especially because you're a fresher, the best is that what we do with our students. So unlike a lot of other schools, our students, once they start, they also do a lot of live projects in addition to the summer internship. So for example, on an average in the first year itself, almost every student of ours would have done two to three live projects before they start the summer internship. That exposes them to a lot of content other than the academic content. It exposes them to a lot of companies. It improves their chances of getting these live projects extended into summer internship. And then since they spend a longer duration with a certain company, it also supports their final PPO chances. So this is a model we have been practicing now almost for 3 to 4 years. And it's a model of live projects, summer internships, live projects, and final placements. So on an average, as I said, each candidate in our batch would have gone through 2 to 3 live projects on, in addition to the internship. And this is even more important for freshers because it allows you to build your profiles, and it allows you to make it stronger, especially when it comes to the final shortlisting process. The placement committee and the CDS, which is the Career Development Services team, takes care of, getting you guys these live projects. Also, this allows you to then understand what specialization will work for you. Now, a lot of students come to us and they're confused, let's say, between marketing or HR or marketing or operations. Now, with these live projects, it becomes even more clear for them what they're really good at. So they work very closely with the placement committee and CDS team to identify certain live projects and then, of course, build a career path for themselves. So therefore, Aisha, I hope you understood that as such, there's not any difference or any disadvantage if you're a fresher. But of course, the stronger you work during your course duration, the better your chances. Now, what are the chances of getting an international placement? So guys, to be very honest, each year, of course, a small percentage of our students do get placed abroad. But seeing the current scenario, this is something that, we are obviously reserving to speak about because it's going to get really difficult. We do have, when you actually go for your Milan semester, you will have access to the Bocconian jobs there. You will have access to the finance week jobs. You will have access to the luxury week job fair. But what we've seen is, it of course is very competitive because they're looking at local candidates. Language is a massive barrier. So unless you really speak fluently local languages, converting these jobs is challenging. The candidates who have converted these jobs, they were very unifocused. They came to the program, they thought that these are the companies I'm targeting. Therefore, they learned Italian or they learned another language and they targeted those companies. But having said that, of course, with the way the world is right now, to be very honest, it's very difficult to really say if the percentage that we keep placing every year internationally would continue. So I kind of want to be very transparent, in this regard. Shruti Sen, can we choose our major degree after the first semester? So with us, what happens is you don't choose your specialization elective almost, at the end of first year. You basically go through your general management, and then you start choosing your electives after you've done your internships. And anyway, your career development services, the learning and development team will take care of these choices for you. Next is Saroj Kant, and he's shared his profile. CAT 85, academic 79, 82, 68, work ex 3 years. Can I expect a call for the second stage? So I think call is feasible. The only thing is that the profile, nothing is really standing out. So I'm hoping that your work experience is something substantial. If you can do that, I think it will balance it out for you, especially because you have 3 years of work experience. So if you've done substantial work, you can highlight that nicely. Once you're shortlisted, it will improve your chances. With the CAT 85, though it's a borderline case, and academics are also they're decent, I think shortlist could happen. And if you want to improve, probably also look at taking the Bocconi test. Okay, I think. Give me a second, guys. I missed the flow. Okay, found. Is the Milan semester included in the standard fee? The tuition fee of Milan semester is included. You'll have to take care of the expenses, which means travel and stay, which approximately comes to about 4.5 lakhs. So the total program cost, if you are not awarded any scholarships or tuition waiver, will go somewhere around 27 to 28 lakhs. When will the Bocconi test be conducted? So basically what happens is, suppose you decide to go and submit your application. Once you submit it, we evaluate your application, and then, if we feel that you might have to take the Bocconi test, or if you request to take it, you will receive a call from the admissions team or an email from the admissions team specifying these are the available dates to take the Bocconi test. You choose a date and you go ahead and you take the test online. The closer you submit towards the deadline, the earlier your Bocconi test will be, which means if you submit on 20th January, which is our deadline for round 2, your Bocconi test will literally be in 1 or 2 days. So ideally, if you're really sure that you're applying, if you're sure that Bocconi test is something that you'll have to take, I would suggest submit earlier and then take a later date for Bocconi test, so that you get a little bit more time to prepare. PI will be conducted online or offline this year? Absolutely online, at least till round 2. We are not sure about round 3. We hope that the world is in a position where we can conduct offline interviews, but at least for round 2, all the interviews will be online. Is DA Bocconi only for those who has interest in international business? No, absolutely not. The course is called International Master in Business. It has got nothing to do really, to be honest, with international business. So that's very different. This is a general MBA program. So keep that in mind. And of course, you have the option of specializing in as many electives as possible. If you've seen our brochure, we have listed about 7 or 8 specialization, which is mostly the specialization that our students choose. But other than that, also there are multiple choices of electives. There are students who also looked at sustainability as one of the options of specializing. So this is not really true. Tanu scored 88 percentile, 44, 94, 93. Where should I apply? Okay, I think again this is a generic question. Maybe the Insider team can take it. Nikhil, 7.8, 77 and 64, NMAT 207. Again, Nikhil, I'm afraid the challenge is your NMAT is too low and also doesn't get compensated with your academics. So in case if you want to apply, please take the Bocconi test. Rishabh, I think Rishabh, we've already, Rishabh, okay, NMAT 222, 95, 87, and grad Jadavpur at 7.23 and 2.5 years of work experience. Balanced profile. Rishabh, if you want to improve your chances, you can take the Bocconi test with 222 and this academics. You might have a chance of shortlist provided you also have some extracurricular activity, but if you want to improve it, probably take the Bocconi test. Success formula, okay, 75, 78, 9 CGPA, CAT 99. Can I get IM call again? Sorry guys, you'll have to direct these questions to the inside IM team. Okay, next is Tanu is asking again, 88, 44, 93, 10, 12, 76, 74, 72. I'm a fresher non-engineer. Can I get a scholarship? Well, see, getting a scholarship will pretty much depend upon how you do in your, in your interview and how does your application and extracurricular looks like. on top of these scores. So with these scores, the base is taken care of, possibly with probably getting a short list, provided you also have some extracurriculars. But then the scholarship chances will pretty much depend on how you do in the final interview. I don't have any extracurricular activities to mention because of certain lack of opportunities. Okay, I have in class 10 CGPA, 70 and graduation, and maintain a decent 8+ CGPA. So Arnab, in your case, if your extracurricular is really weak, it's basic thing that you'll have to do is you'll have to find a way to compensate it with the other things. So for example, if your academics are good, just figure out a way to really get a nice score in whatever tests you're taking to compensate for the lack of extracurriculars. See, with a strong test score and a strong academics, you might still get shortlisted, but at least if you reach the shortlisting stage, you'll get an opportunity during the interview to prove your candidature. So I would recommend that just probably target very strong test scores. Next is Vaishali, NMAT 241, so very sorted, CAT 88, academics 95, 93, 80. Don't have extracurricular, but I've participated in singing competitions. Okay, so Vaishali, the biggest advantage you have is very strong academics and very strong NMAT. So this will pretty much ensure your shortlisting because they're really high. Having said that, the fact you do not have extracurricular might hurt your final scholarship chances, at least in terms of the amount. So I would recommend that if you're going ahead and apply and see what really happens, because I think nobody just doesn't have anything. It all depends upon how you really, what are the things you have done and how you can present it. And in case if you really don't have any extracurricular activity, probably figure out a way to have a nice call, interview. It will depend upon your problem solving skills. It will depend upon your ability to articulate, or your approachability, communication ability. And if you do really well in the interview, at least conversion might happen. I'm sorry, because the fact that there are no extracurricular, I can't say much on the on the scholarships. But because your academics and NMAT scores are really high, it might compensate for the lack of extracurriculars. Shivam, 7.6, 84, 6.4, NMAT 215 had been into many competitions. And what are my chances? Shivam, I see the NMAT and the academics are all at a decent level, but nothing really stands out, right? Like, it's not that one is very strong over the other. So I would recommend that if you want to go ahead with the application, also take the Bocconi test to see if you can score better there. Because NMAT 215, I'm afraid, will not really make it. Saurav Singh, 87, 85, 82, 9 months of work experience, CAT 80, NMAT 210, left job in April. How is the gap going to affect? Well, we've seen a lot of students who do leave their job in the final year because they're preparing for CAT. So shouldn't be that a big issue if you're able to justify it. Saurav, in your case, NMAT again too low. If you're considering applying to us, take the Bocconi test. That's my recommendation for you. Ankit, CAT 93, NMAT 245, 87, 84, 85. Research papers, Preston College, working 16 months. So Ankit, I think you might have a shot. Your extracurriculars have to be obviously structured better. Now, if you do really well in the interview, I don't see a challenge in the shortlist, of course, because CAT 93, NMAT 245 with these strong academics pretty much takes care of that. So shortlist should happen. Make sure that you write the essay answers in the application nicely. But I think in order to improve and target possibly a 50% scholarship, please prepare well for the interview. Your profile with your academics and NMAT scores and some extracurricular will have a shot at 50%, provided you do very well in the interview, Ankit. Aman, 9.2, 75, 61, NMAT 243. Work X 5 months in sales domain. Okay. Aman, again, I think your academics are strong, your NMAT is strong. So two things are pretty much sorted. Your academics are not that strong, but your NMAT is strong. And you also have a little bit of, a core experience. I think with this, shortlist should happen. The fact that your NMAT is strong will support your chances. If this is clubbed with good extracurriculars and a very strong interview, you might have a shot at the 30% tuition waiver bracket. Remember, you might have a shot. All of this again will depend on how you really do in your application, essay answers, and the final interview. Aman, 9.4, 89, 55, NMAT 224, chances of shortlisting and scholarship. Now, Aman, the challenge here, what I see is obviously your grad has gone down, but possibly depends on the state board that you appeared for. The 10th and 12th are really strong, and NMAT is also okay. I would recommend taking the Bocconi test because NMAT 224 is pretty much on the border, and also I don't really see other extracurricular or anything that you have mentioned. So if you're keen on applying, let's also I'll probably take also the Bocconi test. So that will improve your chances of shortlisting. If you do really well, then of course it might improve your chances of conversion with possibly scholarships. But I think the first step for you, Aman, would be to take the Bocconi test. Shweta, 92, 91, 9.1 internet KPM. Shweta, I don't have any other information from you because I can't see your extracurricular, but your academics are strong. I think CAT 90 is strong. So these two combination shortlist will happen. You're in internet KPMG, which will really be a big add-on. I think if you also have a good, extracurricular, you might have a shot at conversion with scholarship, provided you do really well in the interview. Prepare well for the interview. You have strong academics and a decent CAT score. So you might want to hit the, you might be able to hit the 30% bracket again, provided you do well further during the interview. Shivam, what if anyone doesn't want to go to the Milan semester due to COVID reasons? See, to be very honest, guys, we hope by the time you guys are supposed to go to Milan, which will be 2022, right? We are in 21, you will be going to Milan in 22 September. So that's really far. And I'm pretty sure by that time, the COVID scenario will really not be, not be bad at all, and it will be pretty much in control, we hope, because if we are not in control of the COVID scenario till 22 September, then I'm not really sure how the world is going to really, in what position the world will be. So having said that, of course, that is something that we'll consider on a case-to-case basis. See, Milan semester is such an experience that I'm pretty sure once you, start the program, you will absolutely not want to miss it. So as of now, it's compulsory to go if the batch is going. If there are certain circumstances that doesn't allow it, then we'll consider it on a case-to-case basis, especially concerning the COVID scenario. Okay. What is the eligibility criteria for scholarship? I've already covered. It's the same as the admission criteria. The better your, the scores and the better your profile in these 4 elements, the higher your chances of conversion with scholarships. Shadab 93, 81, 9.23, NMAT 224. Good academics, borderline NMAT. Shadab, if you're really going to apply, I would recommend also taking the Bocconi test, provided you also have some extracurriculars. Ankush, 8, 80, 60, 5 years, NMAT 230. What are my chances? Ankush, I think academics are good and NMAT is also good. You have 5 years of experience, so I think it will really be nice to understand what you've done in these 5 years. So you might have a shot at shortlist will happen. I feel in terms of your scholarships or tuition waivers, I think you might have a shot at 30%, provided you're able to justify nicely what you've done in these 5 years, what were the impact of these, of your work experience, your overall professional growth, and how you do in the interview. So especially with people with work experience, a lot of conversation is around their work. So I would suggest prepare well, make sure that you know your CV in and out, so that, when that moment comes, once you're shortlisted, you're able to have a good interaction with the panelists. So Ankush, in your case, I think a possibility of 30% tuition waiver would be there if you take care of these things that I've just shared with you. Okay, next is Rajneesh, 83, 66, 6.25, NMAT 232. Again, pretty same, the same thing that I just shared with Ankush, Rajneesh. Ayush, 240, 94.5, 9.2, 65, extracurricular national level football player. So Ayush, you are like a classic 50% tuition waiver, provided again you do very well in the interview. You can also get the 50% tuition waiver and the sports scholarship, because I see very, consistent sport related interests. Because your NMAT is 240, you have strong academics. Please do well in the interview and you might have a shot of converting the 50% tuition waiver with the sports scholarship, Ayush. Umesh, 60, 70, 80, work-ex 2 years, CAT 95. So academics are low, but CAT can more or less balance it off. So shortlist will happen. Conversion again will depend on your interview. Conversion with scholarship will depend if you can compensate for the academics with a very nice interview to hit the 30% or 50% bracket. Okay, how is the pedagogy of SDA Bocconi? Is it pure case-based, or what else is the weightage for theory and cases? So I think, the biggest advantage with us is we are right in the middle. So being a European school in India, what we have done is we have adapted the case-based method from the US, plus we also the class theory-based method from Europe. And that makes for a very interesting interaction in class, because most of our faculty have been teaching abroad in Europe as well as in the US, and they also pick a lot of cases related to the Indian context. So this is, it's a combination. Also, it varies from faculty to faculty. Some faculty focus a lot on cases. Some faculty focus on a combination of cases and class theory. So this is how it is with us. Guys, I think I won't be able to take any more profiles after this, so I would recommend, I would request not to post anything. Let me just take these remaining 4 or 5, and then we'll probably close with a quick summary. Shubham, sorry, Devdas is 95, 92, 80, CAT 92. So pretty much sorted on academics, pretty much sorted on CAT score. Also a volleyball tournament. If you do very well in the interview, Devdas, you might have a shot of 30 to 50% tuition waiver, provided you do well in the interview. Shubham Saurav, 83, 84, 56, so decent academics. 245 NMAT, pretty much sorted their 2-year work experience in the education sector. So it's a big plus. So I think, again, Shubham, in your case, might have a shot at 50% after the shortlist, do well in the interview. Harsh Asdeva, NMAT 250, CAT 93, Taekwondo state level, university publicity convener. Very nice. So very balanced profile, 3 years work experience. NMAT is also very high. So Harsh, in your case, you pretty much look like a 50%. It could have been higher, but your 12th 69 kind of pulls it down. So I would still recommend, take the, if you're keen on applying, go ahead and apply and make sure that you target that 50% by really preparing very well in the interview. See, the interview is like the performance in the interview is really important. It can really support your overall chances and increase your slabs just like that if you do well, and also just destroy your chances if you don't do well. So nothing else will really matter. Our interview holds about 30 to 35% weightage. So be very well prepared once you reach the interview stage, because that can really define your admission chances as well, even improve. Sometimes what happens, if we really like a candidate in the interview, we tend to oversee other things that might not be working in that candidate's in favor in terms of quant scores, and overlook those and still award a scholarship. So there are exceptions that are made if we absolutely like the candidate. This will again depend on maturity, clarity, communication ability, problem solving skills, approachability, handling of stress. So a lot of the interview is based on certain scenarios. So we will pose these scenarios and try and understand how you will handle these scenarios. So prepare the interview in that manner. Abhinav, 10, 82, 66, 2 years with Amazon, CAT 60 percentile, intern with IIT, social entrepreneurship. So Abhinav, your academics are okay, your extracurricular is nice, CAT is too low. If you're applying, you will have to take Bocconi test and try to clear it. Otherwise, I'm afraid it is so low, it would be very difficult. Ria, 9.8, 90, and 8.5. I don't have any other information. Okay, 10, 9.8 cultural captain. So a lot of extracurricular. I think Ria, you must have gotten an idea in terms of scores. If you can target these scores, shortlist should happen. And of course, chances will improve. The higher the score, the better. Rachit, NMAT 234, 95, 93, 70. Worked with a marketing firm. Honored with best performing performing associate in the company. Okay, great. So NMAT is good. Academics are really good. And also decent extracurricular. So Rachit, can vary from 30 to 50, provided you do well in the interview. Okay, every time when I'm telling you guys 30 to 50, don't take my, don't say, come back to me later and said you said 30. What I really always mean is, it is obviously contingent to you performing really well in the interview. It is contingent to you making sure that your application is up to date, contingent to all your documents and everything. So that is a given, guys. So please remember that. Okay. So Rachit, as I said, could range from 30 to 50, provided, depending on how you write your essay answers and how you do your do in your interview. Sarojka ma'am, I have a diploma. I joined a company after 1 year, pursued a tech job. BTech is regular. I have total 7 years of experience in that job. Can I show my work ex as an assistant engineer? If you have 7 years, I'm afraid, because I think our upper limit is around 5 to 6 years. But anyway, speak to a program advisor, Sarojka, and make sure that you clarify before going ahead with the application. So check that for sure. Ankita, do interviewers really prefer experienced ones more than ones with no work experience? Absolutely not. As I said, each year we get about 35% freshers, and the remaining are people with 1 year or 2 year or 5 years of experience. So there is absolutely not at all like that. When we are considering freshers, when we're looking at freshers during the interview, then we look at things that we can associate with the candidature of a fresher, which means for them, we are not really looking at, okay, what kind of work portfolio do they have? What we really look at is that what kind of things have they done in school? What are the things that they have done in college? Are they active? Are there other interests that they have? What is their ability to articulate certain scenarios? So these are the things. What is their maturity level? What kind of clarity do they have? How do they handle certain kind of scenarios? So these are the things that we evaluate even when we are considering a fresher candidate or even a work ex candidate. How do I prepare for interview? I think we've done quite a few videos, even with the Inside IM team. I would recommend just go online, even in the Inside IM YouTube channel, and just search Bocconi interview tips, and you will definitely find some of our videos there. Shivam CC 74, 79, 56, CAT score 84. Okay, again, you'll have to connect with the inside IM team. Ria, we've already covered. Ria, okay, 9.8, 90, 8.5, cultural captain of school, president of college department, certificate in college, and one college pageant. So, okay, academics are good. I don't know what your scores are, Ria. So, in your case, if you can target NMAT in the 230 plus range or CAT in the 85 plus range, shortlist should happen. The higher the score, the better your chances. How will the Milan semester take place if the pandemic continues? I've already told you this, but for the current batch, the batch that was supposed to go to Milan, the entire semester is being streamed online. So they're still part of the classes that is happening in Italy, but everything is, at least they have access to international faculty. So they still have access to all the faculty that would have anyway taught them in Milan. They actually have access to larger international network of corporate interactions, because we went online. It also allowed us to bring way better speakers as compared to offline, because that restriction is suddenly not there. So of course it doesn't still compensate for the offline experience, but what we are doing is we are trying to expose our students, especially for the current batch, which will just graduate in 3 months, by giving them a lot of international speakers and also international live projects. This thing is also allowed access to internships and live projects, because these can be done virtually. So suddenly our students have access to a lot of these international live projects and international internships, because they can do it virtually. Okay, the last profile, Piyush, 9.4, 77, 71, CAT 88, working in a manufacturing company, 43 months. I think very balanced profile, Piyush. Do well in the interview, might have a shot at 30 to 30% tuition waiver. Again, do well in the interview, because CAT is still 88, not very high. So I'm afraid that might be a challenge. So in order to target 30%, just make sure that you are very well prepared for the interview. Okay, great. So guys, okay, Saroj is saying after diploma, I have 7 years of experience, but I pursued my BTech with job. Okay, then it's fine. Then it will not be considered 7 years possibly, but I would still say speak to a program advisor. So guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just post a number of a senior program advisor, so that, in case if you have questions, just reach out to her and she will then redirect you to different program advisors. The reason I'm saying to do this is because rather than me, of course, I've tried my level best to cover as much as possible. But if you are in touch with one of these guys, they will really handhold you throughout your admission process. Sorry, yeah, that's the number. The name is Amreen. She's the team lead for all the program advisors. Get in touch with her, and she will then redirect you to different people who will take care of your entire admission journey. You can ask them any question. You can interact with them on WhatsApp, go back and forth with them on different questions, and therefore it's a very good medium for you to interact with, especially if you're considering applying to us. Great. I think we've also covered 1 hour. Thank you so much. I'm just going to quickly summarize the admission process for you guys. So remember, the round 2 deadline is 20th January. If you're applying to us, make sure that you fill the application nicely, because it also has a couple of essay answers. In those essay answers, you can write answers in a bullet format. For us, profile is really important. If you really look at your overall profile, look at your academics, 10th, 12th graduation. A good average for us is in the range of average of 80 plus. Test scores, safe scores for us is NMAT. A safe score could be around 230, 220 to 230, CAT around 85, GMAT around 640, GRE around 310 plus. Or if you don't feel that you have these kind of scores, I would recommend taking the Bocconi test. Extracurricular are extremely important, about 20 to 25% weightage on extracurriculars, and they can really, of course, support your chances of converting with tuition waivers and scholarships. So extracurricular will include everything you've done possibly, which is non-academic in nature, social work experience, interests in arts, cultural, sports, anything, and everything will come in under this bucket. And the final is, of course, your interview performance. All of this combined will, define your admission chances, as well as your admission chances with conversion chances with scholarships or tuition waivers. Great. Okay, Rushi, I'll just quickly do your profile. 9, 81, 69, CAT 90 percentile. Academics are okay, CAT is okay. With good extracurricular, you might have a shot at 30%, but you will have to highlight and do well in the interview. Great. Thank you so much, guys. I hope this webinar was helpful. I know when we do profiles, it just becomes a bit monotonous because we're just moving from one profile to the other. But even if you're listening to the other profiles, it will really help you to understand your overall chances. See, the idea is for us not to get all of you to apply. The idea is for you to really understand, if I want to apply, if yes, I want to apply, then what should be my position, overall be, how do I really prepare for the interview? How can I really change this entire bracket for myself? And that is the reason we do a lot of these profile evaluation or webinars related to scholarships. Okay, great. In case if you have any more questions, please get in touch with the number that I've just posted there. And I'm absolutely sure that they will help you out throughout your admission process. Great. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. And thank you, for attending this webinar with us.